こんにちは、ハリケーンフットボールです。今回の教材は、ブライトンの三笘薫に関する動画です。三笘に関しては、本当かどうかはわかりませんが、本人が残留宣言をしたというところから、移籍の話はほとんどなくなってしまいました。ブライトンファンも、本人がそう言ったというのはフェイクニュースだろうという感じですが、フェイクニュースかどうかというよりも、その動き全体を見ながら、残留が近づいていることは感じているのだと思います。三笘が残留することが一番の補強であることは、ファンの総意かもしれませんが、三笘の残留が近づいていると感じている中、ブライトンファンがどのように話しているのか、チェックしてみましょ
う。Hello and welcome back to Talk Seagulls, and we're back in the Caxton Arms with the brand new shirts, by the way, which have come out since we last filmed, and I'm back with Brett again. It's good to have you back.
Yes, welcome back to the pub. It's good. I'm loving the shirts too.
Yeah, it's good vibes actually. There's a lot of stuff happening. Summer, it's very sunny outside, although we've got some horrible noises out there, which we're really hoping doesn't come through on here. But no, it's good to be back down. We've got a mixture of good and bad news, I'd probably say. I'm going to start it off really, really quickly actually, because literally on my way here to Brighton this morning was a completely contradicting article to what I read 2 days ago about Kaoru Mitoma, the man behind you. We've gone from fake news, apparently, about him saying he's going to stay here, to now he's pledged his loyalty to Brighton.
Oh, wow, that's good.
So how do you feel about that?
Delighted by that. Like, I think he is our main man, isn't he, really? I think I said he's our only world-class player. I've said that a few times. And like, I guess like Japanese culture, most people are a man of their word, aren't they? So if he's saying he's staying, he's going to stay, and whoever wants to come in and buy him, probably not going to happen unless it's stupid money. But we've already turned that down from the Saudi league in the last transfer window. So him staying, building the squad around him, is going to be a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. It's so nice to see a player actually just reject the Saudi money for once. You know, you see so many that have gone over there with 400 grand a week sort of thing, tax-free cash. And you can't blame them to an extent for taking that sort of cash, obviously. But it's nice to see Mitoma be one that actually focuses on his career, wants to actually achieve something in the game. I think the notion was he would only go to a Champions League club. Yeah. I guess it seems like Bayern Munich, maybe it wasn't one ready for him. They were after Luis Diaz now, I think, from Liverpool. So unless it's probably a move to Liverpool, who I'm pretty sure after Ekitike, I guess there's not really a host of clubs out there that are probably going to be able to even really afford him now.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and like, weirdly, you got who won it? Tottenham there in Europe as well. So there's just weird teams that aren't very good in Europe, but if it gives him the chance to showcase himself on a higher level, then fair enough. But as you said, if nobody's coming in, I'd gladly keep him. But
yeah, Tottenham are interesting actually, because they've just signed Kudus.
Yeah.
So I guess I know he's the other sided player, but again, it's a winger, it's an attacking midfielder. It's interesting for me with Mitoma because hopefully I hope that the rumours are true that he does want to stay. I think I do get the memo that he does. And as I've said so many times, he is our best player.
Yeah.
And I think for going into next season, just having someone that's actually going to stick to their word and stay. Obviously, we've spoken about Van Hecke. There's now talk about Carlos Baleba being linked with PSG, who are at the moment probably the best team in the world.
Yeah.
And adding Baleba into that super team is probably enough to sell it to anyone. But if we can just go into after a summer even, without losing all of our best players, just losing Joao Pedro, I think that's a pretty decent summer by our standards.
Yeah, I'd agree with that completely. Like, although he's gone on to score 2 bangers on his debut. But
that's hard watch, that was.
Yeah. But so if we keep the core of our squad, then I really believe we're going somewhere. Like the end of last season, we were really good, and without Joao Pedro. So keeping Mitoma, adding however many players we've got, I think we're in for a good ride this season.
Well, the first one to add on is De Kalpa, isn't it? I mean, recently he was the quiet around the training ground. It was very nice how it broke actually, and I do give credit to the club for the sake of keeping it quiet. I've heard some stories about how they kept it quiet, and I think it's quite good in the sense that they've managed to get a deal over the line in the old-fashioned way. Remember Joel Veltman back in the day, where it was a complete surprise, apart from some of the people that knew about it, but it was a complete surprise. And I think having a player that's not just been linked as a, not to discredit Fabrizio or anyone, but you hear about the deal being done like a week before it actually is. So it was quite nice to have one actually come over the line as a surprise. I looked into him as a player, little scout report on him. I was told by the Dutch the Belgians, the Dutch, it's the same sort of thing. But it's apparently the pronunciation is De Kuiper in the same way as Dirk Kuyt. So that's how I'm trying to go by it. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. It's going to end up being De Kuiper, how I said it originally. And you said
I said De Kuiper.
De Kuiper as well. But as a player, from what I can see, defensively was some question marks. And I mean, that's open to interpretation. But going forward, he's got a wand of a left foot. He looks a little bit like a Valentin Barco to me.
Is that good or bad? I don't know.
I mean, going forward,
Well, we seem to have wing backs like that, don't we? We're going forward really good defensively. We're a bit questionable, but I like the look of him. He looks like he's a bit of a shithousery player as well. Yeah. So we need some of that in our team because, as I said before, we're a quite nice team to play against. So if we've got people who get stuck in and ruffle a few feathers, then it's all for the good. So we've got two now, Beltman and De Kuiper.
De Kuiper. Let's call it De Kuiper.
I think if we and excuse me, if he's got this wand of a left foot, getting some assists like for the strikers, hopefully we'll see the best of. I've forgotten his name. Babis, we'll call him.
Babis Costulas. There was a few goals as well that caught my eye. The ball striking ability seems to be something that we really go after now. I think that sort of changed after we signed Julio, and all of a sudden we're going after players that can actually shoot from range. We've obviously got Gruder, who's so good at it. And I think it's quite interesting the amount of players we're trying to get with that ball striking ability. And De Kuiper looks like one of those. I mean, as a wing back, it obviously looks like we are going to a back three, as you said before. And even if we're not, I think you've got someone that's going to be able to cover on that left side when Kara Matoma's obviously not going to play every game. It leads me on quite nicely to losing Simon Adingra. Simon Adingra has gone to Sunderland for around £20 million. I think it's good business on our perspective, I think.
Yeah, what are we getting for like 8 million, I think, maybe? I don't know, not a lot, but that's great profit on someone who hasn't really kicked on from how he was at the end of the De Zerbi era, and he kind of dropped off, tailed off and didn't play much. So to get that much money is great.
I think when I look on it as well, it's probably the first time ever, there's a big contrast between the media and probably the fans that watch Adingra every single week. And I'm not to discredit Adingra, by the way. I actually was in the camp of, I didn't like the fact that everyone was giving him abuse and stuff. Didn't like everyone celebrating the fact that he was gone. I didn't feel comfortable with that one. Because I thought he did really, really good thing in his first season. And that was being thrown into the deep end in a team that he shouldn't have really been playing in. But regardless, I think that the move makes sense. But when I see the media almost saying that they've signed this Premier League like winger, wonder kid player, I'm thinking you could be a little bit disappointed in the sense of he's all right. Like he's a decent player, and they have got themselves a good player. And I said this on the Sunderland podcast yesterday, but you've not got yourself someone that is the Brighton world beater. And unfortunately for him, because we've got Mitoma in front of him, it makes him look probably worse than perhaps he is. And maybe it's an opportunity for him to be at a club where he can now progress. Yeah,
where he should be like one of their better players, I should imagine, or definitely one with more Premier League experience. So he could be the big fish in the small pond there, and he might shine. Like, he's no mug. He won the African Cup of Nations. He's done well with us. He scored some wonder goals. Then sometimes he looks like he's got absolutely no control of his body. But he is good. But am I sad to lose him? Probably not, because we have got about 100 other wingers, and I think we had to trim our squad down as well. So we've got 30 players and we need to get it down to 25. So he was an obvious player to go.
Yeah, and the way I look at it is they've effectively got him for 10.5 million, really, haven't they? Because obviously we signed Tommy Watson for 10 million from Sunderland, and it seems as though Watson has settled in nicely in his early signs in training. But at the same time, probably not a player that's going to start instantly. And maybe that massive game moment where he scored the playoff final winner, as fantastic as it is, probably if it wasn't to have that situation for him, I think Sunderland fans maybe would have been saying, he is just, time. He is an interesting player to me. How I was described by him is he's taken the move seriously. And this is coming from someone that is a Sunderland reporter himself. And he's got himself in shape. He's ready to come over to the Premier League. They're a little bit disappointed with how he sort of down tools to get a move. They felt like it was a bit engineered, which is interesting and gives me alarm bells over a future transfer for our sake. But at the same time, they said Brighton must have seen something in him, and that moment in the playoff final to when you've got 2 or 3 passes in front of you, 95th minute or whatever it is for your boyhood club, and you go and take that shot in the way he did. You know, that's a moment of magic, isn't it? I suppose, and having that moment of magic is what separates you to being a special player.
Yeah, exactly. And again, as you said, like if we're going with this theory of buying players that can shoot from distance instead of passing it along the edge of the box and then fluffing a chance or making chances even harder, then he could be our man. But I think you're right. He's young. He probably won't start to begin the season. But we've obviously seen something. We very rarely get it wrong.
Especially with younger players, it would be rare.
And if there's any club that's going to give a player time, it's us, isn't it? So I think maybe not next season, but the season after, it could be his time to shine.
I hope that he's the one that... I've got a weird feeling he could be the one that's like Van Hecke, you know, where no one really expected Van Hecke to be a starter as in the way he was. Now all of a sudden he's probably our best defender. And I think that was one thing about Van Hecke that caught me, and he's one that I'll admit I was wrong on actually, because I didn't see it as much maybe as obviously now he's an absolute powerhouse. But when he first played for us, I thought, I don't know.
Yeah, he had the ropey debut at Leicester, was it? I think it was. But
and then he was. He was a bit red card merchant, wasn't he, in the Championship? I know he got Player of the Season for Blackburn, but still, he was a bit of some of his challenges when he was there. I thought, God, this could be a bit of a dangerous one. But he's come on leaps and bounds, and he's one that's really, you know, broke out. Yasin Ayari would probably argue had a similar sort of career.
I think I've been wrong about him as like just because of maybe his lack of physicality, where he just got pushed off the ball. I didn't really rate him, but now he's sort of flourishing a little bit like, towards the end of the season. A couple of goals, a couple of assists, and he's good. But is he another one that was linked to go somewhere else? But he's one again I think we should keep.
There's a lot of Championship players that can step up. You know, that's one thing I have noticed. The best player in the Championship sort of thing does tend to follow through to the Premier League. It's apart from unfortunately for us was knockout, wasn't it? Really, probably didn't quite come through. But I think that's probably more linked to external factors than anything else. I think that there is a common, what would you call it, correlation between players that come from the Championship into the Prem, especially young players.
Well, dare I say it, Palace are quite good at picking up those sort of players. Like Wharton was the last one that he was doing really well, and now he's sort of flourishing in the Premier League, and now he's a cup winner. But there's a...
Maybe not a Europa League player.
That's quite funny, that whole story. I don't really understand what's happening, but there we go.
It looks like they're out, I think. I think they'll still get conference is the likelihood at the time of saying this anyway. But it's a bit messy. I was listening to John Textor on Talk Sport on the way over. And what a car crash of an interview that was. I mean, I was trying to make use of what he was saying, but I felt like he was being a little bit hard done by Jim White, to be honest. I feel like he was really headline fishing a little bit. And I was thinking... I don't know who's being more annoying in this scenario, to be honest. All I can really say is that, it doesn't look great for Palace, but oh well, I suppose.
次は解説です。今回もやはり少しボソボソ話しているところで聞き取りにくいところがあったかと思いますが、私も一箇所自信がないところがありましたので、アスタリスクをつけていました。わかる方がいれば教えてください。ボキャブラリーはスラングや口語的なものも多かったので、よく使えるものが多いかもしれませんが、本日の解説をチェックしてみましょ
う。was a completely contradicting article to what...
コントラディクトは日常会話やビジネス英語でもよく使われる動詞の一つです。意味は矛盾するや反論するで、他の人の発言や考えと食い違うときに使います。例えば、昨日の報告と今日の話が違うと言いたいときや、誰かに反論しないでというときなどに使えます。似た言葉には、否定するという意味のディナイや反対するという意味のオポズなどがありますが、コントラディクトは内容の矛盾にフォーカスしている点が特徴です。ニュース、プレゼン、議論など、あらゆるシーンで活用できる便利な単語で、この単語を使えると、論理的なやり取りがぐっとスマートになります。
was a completely contradicting article was a completely contradicting article but going forward he's got a wand of a left foot.
ウォンド は、直訳すると棒や杖を意味する単語です。よく知られているのは、魔法の杖という意味のマジックオンドで、ファンタジー映画や小説で魔法使いが振って呪文を唱えるあの道具です。一方、日常的な使い方もあり、マスカラのブラシや病院などで使うスキャンワンドのように、スキャナーの棒状の部分もウォンドと呼ばれます。日常用語からファンタジー表現まで幅広く使える、便利で印象的な単語です。
But going forward, he's got a wand of a left foot. But going forward, he's got a wand of a left foot.
He looks like he's a bit of a shithousey player as well.
シットハウズイは、スラングで、特にイギリスのサッカー文化の中でよく聞かれる表現です。フェアとは言い難いけれど、試合を優位に進めるために使う、ずる賢い行動を形容するときに使います。例えば、わざと倒れて時間を稼いだり、相手を挑発したりするような行動が、シットハウズイです。これに近い言葉は、ずるい、悪どい、卑怯だけど賢いといったイメージです。感情的にも使われ、あいつやるな、といったニュアンスを込めることもできます。ただし、放送禁止用語、シットが含まれているため、フォーマルな場では絶対に使用しないようにしましょう。スポーツの会話や SNS 上では、ネタ的に多く使われています。
He looks like he's a bit of a shithousey player as well. He looks like he's a bit of a shithousey player as well. So if we've got people who get stuck in and ruffle a few feathers, then
get stuck in は、イギリス英語でよく使われるフレーズで、全力で取り組むや、本気でやるという意味を持ちます。例えば、仕事に対してやる気を見せたり、スポーツで体を張ってプレーしたりするときに使います。また、食事の場面で、さあ、食べようというニュアンスでも登場する面白い表現です。スタックは、詰まっているや、はまり込むという意味がありますが、ここでは、没頭する、や、夢中になるというような感覚です。口語的でカジュアルな言い回しなので、日常会話やドラマや映画などでよく耳にする表現です。アメリカ英語ではあまり使われませんが、イギリス圏ではとても自然に聞こえるフレーズです。ラックルフェザーズは、誰かをイライラさせたり、不満を引き起こしたりすることを意味するイディオムです。羽を逆立てるという比喩から、動揺させる、や、怒らせるという感覚で使われ、例えば、会議で挑発的な発言をしたり、意見が対立して場が気まずくなるような時に使われます。ラックルは、かき乱すや、くしゃくしゃにするという意味の動詞なので、羽を意味する、フェザーズ、と組み合わせて、心をかき乱すようなイメージで使います。フォーマルすぎずカジュアルすぎないので、ビジネス英語でも日常英語でも広く使われています。特に感情や人間関係に関連する会話ではとても便利な表現です。
And so if we've got people who get stuck in and ruffle a few feathers, and so if we've got people who get stuck in and ruffle a few feathers, and so if we've got people who get stuck in and ruffle a few feathers, then it hasn't really kicked on.
キックオンは、特にイギリスでよく使われるカジュアルな表現で、スポーツや日常の会話で、次のステージへ進むや、さらに良くなるといった前向きな成長や継続を表します。例えば、若いサッカー選手がブレイクするや、実力を発揮し始めるような場面でよく使われます。また、イベントがそのまま盛り上がり続けるという意味でも用いられるため、状況に応じて訳し分けることが必要です。やや俗っぽく、フォーマルな場面には不向きですが、ネイティブとのカジュアルな会話ではとても自然な言い回しです。
It hasn't really kicked on. It hasn't really kicked on.
They felt like it was a bit engineered.
エンジニアは、もともとは技術的に設計する、や、製造するという意味ですが、日常会話ではそれに加えて、意図的に何かを計画、操作、仕掛けるという比喩的な使い方が非常に多いです。特にスポーツやビジネスの文脈では、遺跡を自ら画策したや、状況を意図的に作ったという意味でよく登場し、例えば、誰かが自ら望んでうまく行動したことを表すときなどに使われます。戦略的、計画的な動きを強調する言葉としてもとても有用です。
They felt like it was a bit engineered. They felt like it was a bit engineered. But he's come on leaps and bounds.
リープス&バウンズは、跳躍という意味のリープと、大股の一歩という意味のバウンドという意味から、物事が急速に大きく前進する様を強調するイディオムです。個人のスキルアップ、企業の成長、テクノロジーの進化など、ポジティブな変化に使われます。少しずつではなく、一気に成長、改善したことを表すために最適で、日常会話やビジネス英語、ニュース記事など幅広く登場します。この表現は褒め言葉や成功を強調する文脈でよく使われ、ネイティブにとっても非常に自然な言い回しです。
But he's come on leaps and bounds. But he's come on leaps and bounds. Correlation between players that.
コレレーションは、2つの物事の関係性や関連性を指す言葉です。特に統計学やデータ分析では、変数 A と変数 B の間に、どのくらい関連があるかを示すときに使われます。重要なのは、コレレーションはコーセーションではない、つまり、相関は因果関係ではないという考え方で、関係があるからといって、片方がもう片方の原因だとは限らないということです。日常会話では、数字だけでなく、性格と成績の関係、睡眠と集中力の関係など様々な話題で使われる柔軟な表現です。
A correlation between players that
いかがでしたか？残留を希望したと三笘薫本人が言ったのかどうかは実際にはわからない中で、日本では2チャンネルの会話らしいようなフェイクニュースだとか、本当か嘘か、飛ばしかという話が多いような気がしますが、現地ではフェイクニュースかどうかはわからない中で、実際にそういう話が出ていることから、その背景を推測したり、ファンが残留を期待したりしているように感じます。実際にそういう話が出てきているということは、間違いなく他のクラブに対しての牽制になってしまいますので、残留させたい、あるいは移籍金を高くしたい思惑は感じるでしょうし、少なくとも残留を後押しするものではあるでしょう。本当に三笘が言ったのかもしれませんが、現状では残留の方向性が高そうな状況ですが、ルイス・ディアスの移籍もありえそうですから、最後の玉突きやドミノ倒しで、急展開があるのか、少し期待をしながら、見守っていきたいと思います。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またすぐにお会いしましょう。